Thidroy is on 2, not out. Only been out there for a short time, faced just 3 balls.
Yeah, it looks like Shanto has refound his form. He's got 40 odd in the last game. He's looking in decent touch today so far.
Next delivery, kept down nicely, but doesn't get it away with any real sense of timing. So one more, he moves to 3, 74 for 2 in the 11th over. We were talking the other game, the previous game I covered with Bangladesh about about the learning, about how they do need to make improvements, how they actually make those improvements. Najmul on 26, that one's played out there again just for a single out towards the cover boundary, because the franchise cricket, they don't necessarily come calling too often for Bangladesh players. The league itself, their own T20 competition, maybe not as as full of skill and big players as they would like. So it's actually seriously getting a plan together that they can put themselves in a better position coming into tournaments like this. This one is angled down towards the circle, and that is the completion of a very quick over. 13 runs coming from 2 overs, just 9 from that last one. Jadeja and Najmul is on 27, Thidroy on 4, 76 for 2 after 11 overs. A quick over, and one which really doesn't deliver what Bangladesh need, and yet it was 9 runs. It wasn't that bad. 121 from 54 balls still needed.
The problem with Bangladesh and T20 cricket is the things that they need to get right are not new. We've been hearing big hitters, death bowlers. Those two things have existed for the last 15 years in T20 cricket. And in terms of Bangladeshi players getting the exposure, getting signed by franchise leagues, well, the majority of world cricket doesn't follow Bangladesh cricket day in, day out, but they do see them play at these tournaments.
Yeah. Thidroy on 4, gets out on one knee. Is that LBW, an appeal and given by umpire Goff? Finger raised. Now, is he saying that it came off the bat first? He's going to review it. I think he is going to review this. Is this because he genuinely believes he got a bit of bat on this? It looks if he does. Anyway, he has called for a review. Umpire Michael Goff has signalled to his TV colleague to have a look at that. Langton Raser, that's the voice we can hear.
Original decision on field is out. I've checked the
so he confirms that Michael Goff has given it out. We know that it's not a no ball. They've checked that one. So let's take a look at the replay here. I noticed that umpire Carberry was it's on the back leg. I'm thinking this is not good news. Umpire Carberry believes that the TV evidence has backed up what he saw live. And what about yourself?
I agree with that. It does look like, yeah.
But he was signalling as if he felt he got an inside edge on it. But he's, well, I was going to say got nowhere near it. It was perhaps close to getting on the bottom edge, but it shows nothing on ultra edge. But that's the signal he seemed to be giving, and why I think he went for the review. He thought he got a little bit of bat on that.
Perhaps a whisker away, maybe felt the wind go by, but
original decision is out. Impact is
so the bat hits the ground, and that's where, And actually, in fact, that ball straightens more, according to the TV evidence, than I thought it was going to do. Anyway, umpire Michael Goff, with a sense of, not arrogance, but pride in his work, and raise the finger and say, I got that one right. And off you go. Unlike Kuldeep, who he's not an umpire, but seemed to think he was on that last dismissal. I wasn't best pleased with that. Play nicely, boys. But anyway, 76 for 3, and that is the leading run scorer for Bangladesh in the competition, out for only 4.
Well, Hridha gets out trying to play a sort of similar shot to one we saw Shante play a couple of overs ago. Saw his colleague attacking the Indian bowling. I thought, let me get in on this action. For Bangladesh, that also means they've wasted both their reviews in a matter of 2 or 3 overs.
Yeah.
It also does mean we're now into Bangladesh's late middle order. This is where the kind of big hitters do come in, the experience comes in. So they've got Shakib, Mahmudullah and Rashad to come.
But out of form?
Out of form, Shakib, but with a lot to do. But also, put Shakib under pressure with a familiar foe.
Okay, Kuldeep goes back to that one and just defends it into the ground and then up into his pad. He just gets lodged there behind the pad on the knee.
Should have run.
with the ball. Everybody wondering, where's it gone? Where's the ball gone? What a good idea that is. But he didn't. Next time. So, Shakib facing. And Kuldeep bowls. Leading edge out into the offside and no run. I had one of those moments I thought I was going to sneeze.
I've had a few.
I blame you then.
Have you had your hay fever one a day?
No, I don't. As far as I know, I've had most things in life, but hay fever's not one of them.
Oh, no.
Anyway, but I think it's okay. But I thought I was going to have to sneeze there. 76 for 3. Midway through the 12th over, goes back and angled down just to the edge of the circle. Just be one run for the experienced Shakib. So he's on to 1. And the screaming you can hear in the background is just the monitor showing us again previous dismissals. And that is high-pitched, isn't it? That is some appeal. And Virat giving that out LBW from down there at Fine Lake, was he?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, I'm not sure what sort of angle he would have got from that
good enough
position. Well, clearly good
because he got it right. Najmal on 27, make that 29. Comes back for a second. I mean, I thought there was always going to be, well, from one moment I thought maybe a 4, but always 2 there. But again, not really aggressive. I'd say looking for 2, but didn't really push that first one. Thinking about 2, it's almost like an afterthought.
No, attempted a reverse sweep, I think, with that shot. By the time you get back into a running position, you've probably eaten up the time required to run your first one, and 2 is the luxury at that point.
Yeah, I guess. Najmal has moved to 29, 79 for 3. 1 ball left of the 12th over. Had a wicket right at the start of this, a couple of dot balls, a single and a 2. Next ball bowled. That's played very nicely by Captain. I say nicely, I mean it's nice in a test match or something, but it's just going to get him a single here. Now it's onto the onside. Another fairly quick over completed there. 2 for 10, Kuldeep on his 3 overs. 4 runs, only 4 runs coming from that over. Not enough for Bangladesh. Najmal on 30, Shakib on 1. 80 for 3 after 12 overs. Oh, and this equation is looking more and more ominous. 117, say ominous, desperate, impossible. 117 from 48 balls.
Well, they're going to need, 15 and over at this stage, and it's hard to see which one of these bowlers that they can go after. It's also hard to see which one of the batters is going to go for it. We just saw Mahmudullah in the dugout practicing his straight drive and perhaps planning to try and go over the bowler's head when he gets in.
Next delivery, high in the air. This actually should clear, and it will clear for 6. Over square leg, that's more like it. Jadeja bowling, and he's into that very quickly. There's the captain. How many 6s has he got now in this innings? If I add that one, that's his 3rd. It's his 3rd of the innings. That one's gone 71 metres, but it doesn't really matter how far they've gone as long as they've gone over the other side of the boundary. Oh, width on that. Too much width, umpire. Najmal's questioning it, reaching for it, but I don't think he's got the response he wanted from umpire Holdsocks. I think he's not raised his arms. Najmal on 36 on the leg stump, looking to work it away. Oh dear, and he lifts the bat there and just has to hold it back a little, because I think if that bat had come down in temper, it might have actually clocked the keeper on the head, which I don't think he was ever intending. But frustration being shown. Najmal on 36. Jadeja will get the ball away, but only up to the fielder coming in from the long on boundary. Even he can take his time. Hardik Pandya calling the keeper a little bit closer to him. Come and take that ball. Rohit Sharma, we can see him on the monitor as well. He looks fairly comfortable and confident about things. India, of course, should this be another win, unbeaten in the competition. And the umpire just helping Shakib Al Hassan take his guard here to the bowling of Jadeja. He needs to be positive and aggressive. Does he get a little nick through to the keeper? No. Thought I heard a bit of a sound. Maybe that was a bat on the ground as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a crisp crunch, wasn't there, as it went past, but I think it...
Next ball. And that's over the top, and that's going to be 4 runs down there to 3rd. So he moves to 5. It's the end of another over. 11 runs. Well, you see, 11 runs should be good, and it is good, but it's not enough. God, how quickly are they going through these overs?
Well, I mean, we expect spinner overs to be quick, but that was particularly...
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Jadeja's always used that as a tactic there, because he just rattled through, not really going for a 6 to the first or second ball of that over, but not really giving Bangladesh a chance to respond, really.
I feel it was only seconds ago I was reading out the equation, which is now 106 from 42 balls. The required rate 15.14. They're going along at 7s, which just shows the task ahead for Bangladesh. 91 for 3 on the board. Beautiful day, Antigua. Strong breeze blowing. Good atmosphere. Predominantly supporters of India. Not entirely, exclusively, but predominantly. Najmal on 37. Kuldeep back in for his final over. Again, reaching for that a little with width, but Najmul will get back on it. But it's just a single. It's not enough. It's not enough. But we've seen some intent. We've seen trying to do his best out there, but coming up short here. Coming up short. And certainly plan A was to put India into bat and give themselves something they perhaps in their own mind they could believe they would get. Almost dream well, I suppose, 130, 150, something like that. But that didn't work at all. Comes down, does Shakib. It's gone straight, and it's going to be a 6. Only just gets over the boundary rope, but it gets there. So he's happy with that. Punch of the gloves. That's 6. 98 for 3. Got down on one knee. I think he was perhaps looking to play that more onside. He went straight in the end. He moves to 11. 4 balls left of this 14th over. Now, he didn't really know where that's gone. It's gone high in the air on the offside. There's a man under it, and it's the end. Shakib has gone, caught by Rohit Sharma for 11. That's 4 wickets down now, 98 for 4 in the 14th over. And the tale, the story is good intent, positivity, aggression, maybe a boundary or 2, and then the wicket.
Yeah, that's a very accurate summary of the over. I mean, Shakib started to take steps towards the leg side and look to attack the bowling, but didn't really do so cleanly. Even the boundary, like you said, I think it was potentially looking to try and hit that down the onside, and he'll be frustrated with that. His poor form continues in the World Cup. The pressure will pile on Shakib. He'll be frustrated with that.
Caught Rohit, bowled Kuldeep, 1-4-1-6. More water being taken on board. 3 deliveries left. Kuldeep's almost finished this little spell of bowling here, but that's looking all right at 3 for 17, isn't it? From 3.3
absolutely
overs.
Take that, yeah, absolutely take that.
Mahmudullah, well, again, experience, vast experience.
Experience, a calm head, ability to clear the boundaries. But what they're asking from him now is, 20 and run over, essentially, to try and pull the equation back into anything gettable. I mean, I think at the start of the match when Shantho said 150, 160, I think that was very telling, because that's sort of the score that Bangladesh looked like they might be heading towards with their current run rate of 7 or so. But wickets are falling. They are, 2 batters away from being out of people who can hit the ball. And the pressure is mounting. Clear the boundary. Hit the ball hard is what I meant there.
Yeah.
Although Tuscan's not here, so we won't be able to enjoy his batting later. It's a shame.
Yeah, and still no statement. You're still bereft of information.
No, quite right.
It
might be a performance rate, which is shocking actually. Performance rate dropping, the old Tuscan drop.
Mahmudullah is going to face Kuldeep. 3 balls left of this over. 3 of his spell of 4 overs. Oh, lovely delivery. Just turned, having pitched beautiful bowling to Mahmudullah. And that doesn't help. If you're going to face deliveries like that doesn't help, does it?
That is quite right. We saw Mahmudullah practicing that shot in the dugout just before he came out, and just looking to execute his rehearsal. That's potentially a bit too early.
Yeah, to get a target like this, we talked about it earlier. The discipline wasn't always there from Bangladesh with their bowling, and they needed something similar from India. It's not really happened. They've been on the game really today, haven't they? They've been all across. Oh, Kuldeep. Oh, you don't need any of that nonsense. I've seen if the batter was out of his crease, was he? Anyway, back to his mark. And he's going to bowl now on the leg stump. Use of the wrist from Mahmudullah onto the onside for a single. All very gentle. Gentle isn't going to get you anywhere today. The 99 for 4. 1 ball left of the 14th over. Ticking along. I'm enjoying the game. It's fine, but it's not going to deliver any huge high excitement, I don't think, now in the latter stages. And another, win for India. Of course, one of the favourites, and this one's worked away through mid-wicket. Najmul moves to 39 and brings up to 100 for Bangladesh. 100 for 4 after 14 overs. Kuldeep's 3 for 19 from 4. 9 runs coming from that over. And again, more bootlaces need to be done up there. Both feet, there's never just one boot they do, it's always 2.
Well, I might as well, if you're down there on one knee, just get them both done.
Whilst you're down there, I'm very much like, at my age, I'm a bit like that. I'm going to go down that far, I'll do up both places.
Exactly.
I don't need to have to go down there again. But he's not quite my age. Oh, is it time to swap? Garbs, get yourself ready, because you were complaining earlier you weren't given enough time to get yourself ready for action.
Ooh,
and now, are you ready?
Yeah, ready and firing, mate.
No, thanks to Roshan. I'm sure he'll have a thing or two to say before the end. He will be back. Najmal on 39, Hardik bowling, pulled away through mid-wicket, and that will be for 1, Virat Kohli. Out there, the huge seismic figure of world cricket, of Virat Kohli, all on his lonesome out there, deep mid-wicket. But he's very much a party. He got some runs today. Did he get some runs? Top order. 101 for 4, 15th over, and 96 from 35 balls. Ahmedullah's going to face Hardik. Will be bowling. Ahmedullah takes a look around. Got a bit of a change in the field there. Going a little bit deeper at mid-wicket. Because I mean, if they are going to go anywhere, no, they won't get anywhere near. But if they're going to give us some entertainment, maybe they'll just treat us to a little bit of possible blitzing towards the boundaries, stick a fielder out a little bit deeper. But they've not really shown any signs of thinking like that. We've seen some intent, but not a great deal. Hardik in and bowls, and that one is played along the ground to the man coming off from the long on boundary. So a single there. Score moves to 102 for 4. I say that I mean the bowling, the bowlers done a good job. Have they not, or not? You're still thinking more Bangladesh?
I think, yeah. They could have. It could have been a lot better if I think tactically they got a few things right. But I think, look, we have to deal with the actual problem. I think they're just missing a dynamic bowler and a
Najmal on 40 and right into the bodies. Create a bit of room out there outside the leg stump. It's just one more to the total.
Yeah, I look at that Bangladesh bowling attack and I think, look, you've got some guys coming towards the end. I think they're missing a dynamic bowler, someone with genuine pace or, genuine mystery, a gun spinner like a Rashid Khan type individual, and with the bat, I think is similar. I think they've got a very good lineup in terms of, like you say, 50 over cricket, long form cricket. But, do they have that Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant type individual in their ranks?
Ahmedullah on 2. Does get a little bit of width on that, and it's carved to the boundary. There's nobody out there, so that's 4 runs. I get excited. I see a boundary, and then I look at the score and I think, oh dear. But anyway, it's nice to have those moments, isn't it? It's nice
absolutely.
to have those moments.
Yeah, and I think the disappointment from a Bangladeshi point of view is you don't really want to go out of a tournament like this with almost a bit of a whimper. That's how it's had that feel to it today. Like they haven't really got stuck in.
Next ball, slower ball. Mahmudullah is up to it, but again, it just gets one.
Yeah, I kind of feel like from a Bangladesh point of view, it's almost been waiting for India to make a mistake as opposed to, giving them some punches and then jumping all over them, that kind of thing, and run the risk of being knocked out yourself. They've kind of just hung on the back foot a little bit.
And that's what I was also alluding to in terms of Bangladesh chasing these runs down. I think India have not made it easy for them. They haven't been perhaps as ill-disciplined as Bangladesh perhaps were with their bowling. So you give them some credit for that. But Najmal's on 40 from 30 into the body, and it's going to be no run. It's also going to be the completion of the over, with a dot ball. Najmal on 40, Mahmudullah 7, 108 for 4, 15 overs. 89 from 30, 8 runs coming from that last over. Nikesh Ragani will pick up off the helmet, so I think we may have a little bit of a. It's always a good time to hand over to a co-commentator where there could be a bit of a gap and a delay for you to carry on talking.
You're welcome to stay with us, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm happy to stay
please.
on. I'm having a lovely time. But yeah, I mean, it's impossible to say from here whether it didn't look to be the most threatening. Well, I say that. Look at he's left a mark on the helmet. We had an incident of concussion at a game I was covering a couple of weeks ago, which again looked extremely innocuous. And the player carried on batting. Maybe 2 or 3 overs afterwards, everything was fine. The team were all out. All went into the dressing room, and It was only when that particular batter, that individual, was found fast asleep in the dressing room, did they realise that actually the blow had been a little heavier on the helmet and the head than they realised. You have to be very careful.
Of course, I think what they're doing at the moment is, I think he seems to be okay. They're checking the helmet for any damage, because the last thing you want is a helmet that's not going to be doing its job to its full potential. But all looks to be okay. Thank you very much, Kevin. But all not okay in this Bangladesh run chase. 89 needed carbs from 30 balls. Doesn't look like they're going to get anywhere near as things stand. You never know, though. I mean, look, if this was the IPL and there was a side with 6 wickets in hand and this kind of equation, you'd say maybe. In comes Bumrah to begin his 3rd over into Mahmudullah, who defends away into the offside. And there is no run. Very different conditions out here, of course. I guess, look, we've talked a lot about Bangladesh. India just quietly going about their business in this competition, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They had the favourites tag coming into the competition. I don't think many India fans actually bought into it. Look, they're always tagged as the favourites given their side on paper and their squad on paper. They haven't performed in an ICC tournament to their full capability. And you haven't won an ICC tournament since 2013. In comes Bumrah again. It's a thickish outside edge down to deep 3rd for a single. There's just something a little bit about this T20 side, I feel, and the options that they've got that suggest they might go a little bit further. I'm not saying too much. I'm not jinxing it too much for all the Indian fans listening out there. But what do you make of their side?
No, I mean, look, it goes without saying. I mean, this is the surprise to everybody that India, for a number of years, well over a decade, have always been the team there and thereabouts. You look at the team they've had, the superstars that they've had. It's amazing to everybody that they haven't managed to get over the line.
Bumrah into Shanto. That's gone up high up in the air out towards 3rd, and it's taken on the boundary. Arshdeep Singh with a simple catch. The Bangladesh skipper goes. He was trying to heave one away into the leg side, got a massive outside edge, and Arshdeep Singh was perfectly placed for the catch. First wicket for Bumrah this afternoon. Bangladesh now 109 for 5 in the 16th.
I was just finishing my point there. I think the problem has been for India when they've got into the sort of semi-finals, final stage. For whatever reason, they've panicked. They've gone away from what's got them there. The big players haven't performed, and that's what it's about. You know, it's all about handling the pressure in the final or finals, where you need to be playing your best cricket. It's all good being the top, topping groups and looking the best side and names on paper. But as we all know, those of us who've played in finals, it's all on the day. You've got to play your best cricket, and they've come up short. Simple as that. But again, you've always got to bat India with just purely on the basis of who they've got in their lineups. Like you say, the options at their disposal.
New batter Jakar Ali facing up to a short delivery, a quick one from Bumrah, which he looks to sort of hook around the corner while he's not looking at the ball and misses it. It's through to Rishabh Pant, and there's no run. Roshan Alam back alongside us. Tell us about Jakar Ali then. What do we know about him?
He's an interesting batter actually. He's quite good. Like he watched Bangladesh first. He says his earliest World Cup memory was the 2007 World Cup in the West Indies. So this is full circle for him, being able to bat here. Bumrah
into him again. It's almost inside edge onto his off stump, and he gets away with it again. No run.
And he had to work hard coming through the ranks. So his dad and his sister would drive quite some distance for him to get batting practice, and he was spotted, I think, by Khalid Mahmood, former captain of Bangladesh, who brought him into the BPL. He had a decent BPL last year, and for Bangladesh, I think he just feels like a power hitting option, which is relative because Bangladesh are not a side who I consider to have a lot of power hitting. So he's someone who can clear the boundaries and did so quite well during the BPL, but he hasn't quite managed to recreate that form in the T20 World Cup so far.
In comes Bumrah to complete his 3rd over. It's a full toss. It's been chipped in the air out towards backward square leg. Jakar gets off the mark with a single, so 4 overs remaining. Bangladesh 110 for 5. Remember, that target 197, so still technically 88 runs required. 87 runs required now from 24 balls. So a tough ask, but Bangladesh look like they may well bat out the 20 overs, as Roshan predicted at the start of the innings, but not quite get to the target.
Yeah, it's one-day cricket batting from Bangladesh. It's how they bat the most comfortable. There's no like real let's go for this. There's, we've seen from associate nations in this World Cup just fearless batting, going let's just go for it, let's play fearlessly. But I just wonder how much Bangladesh's apprehension in their heads, their psychology, prevents them from going for it in that way. I think they fear too much about reprehension or comments on form or social media criticism to really go for it, and that's I think held them back a little bit. So we've not really seen anyone absolutely go for any of the bowling today, really.
Arshdeep Singh to come back into the attack now. He's gone 2 overs, none for 14 at the top of the innings. Only fair now. He's coming into Jakar Ali, who chips one up into the air, into the leg side. It's not got the distance, and it's taken. Virat Kohli running in from the deep mid-wicket boundary, comes in, takes a pretty simple catch. Bangladesh now 6 down for 110 in the 17th over. Michael Carberry, it's got that feel about it, hasn't it? The proverbial white flag has almost been waved here by Bangladesh.
Yeah, it's a slow puncture, isn't it? You get a sense.
I love that.
Just slowly going out of Bangladesh's chances.
And they're not run flat tyres either, are
exactly. Exactly. No, it's just been it's just not. It just haven't really taken the shackles off at any stage with the bat. Really, I mean, it was never going to be straightforward against this Indian bowling attack. Let's not kid ourselves. But I guess what we're all saying is just that intent, really. Go down in a ball of flames or ball of fire, whichever way you want to spin it. You just haven't seen that, and maybe do they have the players to do it? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, it's all good me sat here, saying, oh yeah, you've got to give it a go, but if you don't have the players to do it, and I think that's Bangladesh's challenge now over the next couple of years, is to try and, in no doubt there'll be a rebuild after this, to look for those, try and identify those sort of young players that you can build.
Rashad Hussain, the new batter, plays and misses at one outside the off stump to Arshdeep, just angling the ball across him. He likes to give it a wallop, doesn't he, Roshan?
Yeah, I mean, he's very much in the team because he can bat as well as bowl leg spinner. I don't think he would have got in the squad if he was just a leg spinner alone, because Bangladesh don't go for leg spinners. But the fact he can hit the ball, Bangladesh, I think that really kind of lit up the kind of board, and the selectors go, actually, here's someone who can clear the ropes for fun.
Arshdeep into him again. This time it's guided nicely down towards deep third and away for 4. Well, he's got the touch game as well. It was a lovely looking shot. Again, just one that angled across him and negotiated nicely, Carbs.
Absolutely, yeah. Just using the pace, opening the face, timed it beautifully, didn't he? Knew where the gap was and found a boundary. But I look at just Jakar Ali getting out there and listening to Roshan, obviously, was that not a case of saying, look, young man, we've got nothing to lose here, send him up the top in their power play, go over the top, give it some welly, build on someone who has a natural inclination to hit the ball.
Arshdeep into him again. That's a thickish outside edge down towards steep third. Jasprit Bumrah has been placed now on the boundary, and that means it's just a single, so 82 from 20 is the equation from a Bangladesh point of view. Well, what can they gain from these last 3 and a bit overs?
I think it's an opportunity just to go for it, show a bit of fight in the death overs, taking a bit of confidence into the final match. It feels clear from this performance Bangladesh aren't going through to the Super 8s, but what can they get for their confidence?
Arshdeep with a slower short delivery, which has been chipped over point. Will be at least one. In fact, yeah, they do just settle for that single. Slight change in pace from Arshdeep there. 116 for 6. It's not all over for Bangladesh with defeat here against India today. They would need the results to go heavily in their favour, not least Afghanistan to beat Australia, which would be the toughest ask, and then for India to beat Australia, which is, that could happen. And then there'd be 3 sides locked on 2 points apiece, which would give Bangladesh a chance to potentially go through on net run rate, but seems quite unlikely to happen. So this could be it as far as their semi-final ambitions go. Arshdeep with another slower bouncer, which has been pulled away high and handsome over deep mid-wicket for 6. Into one of those stages for the dancers down there on the grass banks. Thankfully, there were no dancers present. And well, there's something for the Bangladesh fans to celebrate.
Yeah, that's what Rishad does well. He just attacks with confidence, not afraid to sort of wave his bat and go for the boundary. And yeah, like you say, it landed where dancers brigade.
Akshar Patel then is brought back with his left arm spin. He's gone 1 over 1 for 11 so far. He's coming round the wicket here to Mahmudullah, who winds up and gets an inside edge down towards long on for another single. The man has kind of taken up the mantle as the premier left arm spin all-rounder in this India T20 squad, ahead of Ravindra Jadeja. Just given the more responsibility he gets with both bat and ball usually through this tournament. That one's been smashed in the air by Rishad out towards deep extra.
Just really highlighting his ability as a potential all-rounder.
Well, he goes for a slog sweep this time, Rishad, and gets it into the deep mid-wicket region for another single. He's gone 1-6-1. Mahmudullah's time to try and clear the boundary now. 67 needed from 15. It is more than mathematically possible, Roshan. They could do it with balls to spare at this stage.
Well, yeah, only 27 and over needed, so spare 9.
That's a big wind-up from Mahmudullah. Another inside edge down towards long on. Just let Rishad take all the strike here. He looks like the one who could get Bangladesh a little bit closer, and even if not, just the more likely to entertain the crowd here towards the end. Akshar speeding through this over, floats one up, and that's edged into the pad of Rishabh Pant, and there's no run. Didn't quite know too much about that, did Rishad, who's 18 from 7 as things stand. Required run rate creeping to just over 30. Hello, Rishad says, well, I'll just smash the next ball for 6 down the ground over the top of Akshar Patel's head. Lovely shot, just a little shimmy down the track, getting those long levers out and smashing it over the rope. 2 overs left, Roshan. 2 overs left. 60 runs exactly needed. Well,
let's give him to Rishad and see what he can do. I'm really pleased for this young man. I think of Bangladesh's campaign, he's the story to come out for this team. He can bowl, he's a leg spinner, he can hit the ball, and I wonder whether Bangladesh should have maybe sent him out early, like Carbs was saying, just someone who can hit the ball. The thing is, they did that in the last game against Australia, and he was bowled out quite quickly, so I think there would have been hesitation from the camp. But today, on this pitch against this opposition, he might have made a difference earlier on today.
You've got to back yourself, haven't you? I mean, things can happen, right? You can get a first baller in cricket, but then do you drop somebody who opens a bat and gets a first bowler? You've got to back them a little bit. And if that's the plan you want to go with, try and stick to it. It's not going to be easy here in this over, though. Jasprit Bumrah is back. 3 overs, 1 for 8. He goes short. It's pulled away out towards deep mid-wicket. Kohli with the fielding. It will just be the single. It's over to Rishad. 138 for 6. Bangladesh. This current partnership, though, 28 from just 12 balls. Rishad's got 24 of them from just 8.
I think the problem remains just Bangladesh's top order. They are so nervous, so out of form. They eat up that power play, really, and it's where games can be won or lost, and stuttering their way to 30-odd runs in that power play, leaving too much for these guys low down the order to do.
Bumrah into Rishad then. How's he going to approach this? He slaps it cross-batted towards extra cover. I think he was looking to pull that into the leg side. Somehow ends up bouncing in front of Rohit Sharma. Short extra cover. There's no run. And it's pretty much almost it now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry, Roshan.
No. Well, I'd written this off some time ago, actually.
At the halfway point, from what I recall.
I appreciate the optimism in the room, lads. But, I read this off some time ago.
Bumrah, 3.2 overs, 1 for 9. Took 3 for 7 in the previous match against Afghanistan. Miserly spell again. Another similar shot. This time he does find Rohit Sharma at short extra cover. Rishad and his short but entertaining stay at the crease comes to an end. It's a second wicket for Jasprit Bumrah, his 10th in this T20 World Cup. And look, we talk about bowler-friendly wickets, Carbs, and sometimes too much so, particularly that pitch in New York and the one in Guyana. When you've got a man like this in your side, you could put him on any pitch anywhere in the world and he will deliver you spells.
Isn't he? I mean, and that's where we talk about, you know, coming back to Bangladesh, about, you know, do they have that dynamic type of bowler, either someone with extra pace or, you know, a gun spinner to call upon. India, you know, they have Jasprit Bumrah and many other gun options at their disposal. This is why they're always touted as one of the top teams. But yes, he's a very, very special cricketer.
Mahedi, the new batter, just flirts at one outside off stump. Through to Rishabh Pant for no run. It's 138 for 7. Look, they're on the cusp of getting their highest score in this competition. A few more runs would see them over that mark. So it's not been a complete disaster for Bangladesh in terms of where their tournament has been at and where their level has been at. But they will be disappointed, I think, particularly with the way they bowled and allowed India to get on top of them early on. That's another dot ball. Defended. This is 19th over of a run chase. I know you've got the lower order in there, but Bumrah's just bowling dots for fun. Barring some major miracles and no balls and free hits. It's all done and dusted for Bangladesh. See, this is the thing, Carbs, isn't it? We talk about our good friend Ravi Bopara saying they should introduce a rule where one side can just say, you know what, here's the white towel. This is that kind of territory, isn't it?
Rav and some of his ideas over here. Yeah.
This is that kind of territory, though. If ever that was to happen, 55 to win off the last over.
You've seen your fighter take enough punches.
Yes,
right,
just throw it in.
Goes the towel. We would recruit back a lot of time, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Arshdeep then to bowl the final over of this innings. Mahmudullah's on strike. The grey beard sticking out of the bottom of his helmet. That's down the leg side. That's wide. Well, there you go.
Got to be swinging at that, surely, haven't you? Why are you leaving that? Swing.
Maybe sort of 18 more of those and throw a no ball free hit in there as well.
54 more of those would be ideal for Bangladesh.
143 for 7. If you are just joining us here on 5 Sports Extra, nearly at the conclusion of this Super 8s match between India and Bangladesh, live from Antigua. India on the cusp of another victory in the Super 8s. That's a short slower ball which completely foxes Mahmudullah, who attempts a pull, misses it, through to Rishabh Pant for no run. Bangladesh elected to bowl first. Posted 196 for 5, India did. Thanks largely to contributions from Rishabh Pant and Hardik Pandya. Virat Kohli with 37 at the top of the order as well, his top score in the competition to date. And they kept that momentum going really throughout the innings. That intent was always there. As for Bangladesh, a slightly slower start, and they never really recovered. Mahmudullah flicks one away down towards deep backward square leg. It will just be another single. Next up for India, of course, Australia in their final match. But Carbs, this is not just 1 foot in the semi-finals, almost like 1.5 feet for India in the semi-finals, isn't it, with victory here?
Yeah, I think they'll be very pleased with their performance overall today. Not been totally easy, but this is what good sides do. They are able to win slightly uglier than they would like.
Arshdeep with a grunt as he bowls just outside off, and Mehdi cuts towards deep point for another single.
I think they'll be pleased that some of the middle order would have had some time in the middle, particularly the likes of Dubé. I think he would be someone that they've invested in as a sort of big hitter. Nice for him to spend some time at the crease, get some confidence.
Shivam Dubé, short of runs at the start of this competition, had a brilliant IPL for the Chennai Super Kings. That led to his selection for the side. And finally showing in this Super 8s match what he can do, clearing the ropes. Oh, that's not far from leg stump. It's down the leg side, though. Past Mahmudullah's pads and will be signalled wide. Well, no, it's not signalled wide, no, because he moved across to the offside slightly, so the umpire suggesting that it would have probably hit the batter had he just stood in his ground. Just a whisker past the leg stump.
It's very, very close.
Yeah.
Coat advantage.
He's bowled well today, Arshdeep. Gave a few wide ones early on in his spell, but he's come back well. 1 for 29 from 3.4. Couple of balls remaining in the match then. This one's short. It's hooked away out towards deep backward square. And that's a brilliant catch by Akshar Patel. At this stage of the match, when you know you've won the game, still to put in that effort, ran in 15 or so yards off the rope towards his left, put in the dive forward as well. And made it look pretty comfortable in the end.
Yeah, he did. Great bit of athleticism from Akshar Patel out there. Mahmudullah again, you don't really feel Mahmudullah gave that the full swing. It was almost a bit of a timid guide round the corner. You know, really, why not try and give that the full beans, try and hit that into the stands? But it just typifies the kind of day Bangladesh has had, really.
Yeah, Mahmudullah gone for 13 from 15 balls. Second wicket for Arshdeep Singh. Judging by the body language of Rohit Sharma, he looks quite cool and calm and composed. Doesn't look too happy, though. He's got his arms folded as if he's on the cusp of a heavy defeat here. Slower ball to finish off. Tanzim, the new batter, gets off the mark with a single down to long off, and that will be that. Bangladesh falling well short in the end. And India wrapping up their second victory of this Super 8 stage of the Men's T20 World Cup. They win this match by 50 runs. And that, in the context of T20 cricket, is an absolute thumping. Batted first, were asked to have a bat first. 196 was what they posted. And as I mentioned, that intent from early on really carried on throughout the innings. Rohit Sharma, 23 from 11. Kohli, 37 from 28. Rishabh Pant, 36 from 24. Suryakumar Yadav will be disappointed, 6 from 2. Short stay at the crease. Did manage to clear the ropes with his first delivery, and then out the second. Shivam Dubey got in the runs today, 34 from 24, and Hardik Pandya with a really well played half century, 50 not out from just 27 balls, leading to that total of 196 for 5. In reply, some decent innings for Bangladesh. Najmul Hussain Shanto, 40 from 32, and Rishad Hussain towards the back end, 24 from 10. Tanzir Hassan did make 29, but it was off 31 balls, and even that 40 from Shanto, the skipper, at a strike rate of just 125. When you're chasing 197 to win, there just really wasn't that intent all the way through. Look, we've spoken about Bangladesh and their lack of intent and the makeup of their batting order, but let's touch on India here. What will they do in the last match, you feel, Carbs? Do you think they're going to stick with this same method, this same 11, which has proved to be so successful, or do you think now is a time, albeit against Australia, to maybe just shift one or two things? No drastic changes, but maybe bring in one of the bench players or one or two of them just to give them an opportunity, because they might well be needed later on.
I think a few factors will come into their calculations. Perhaps the wicket, you know, where they're going to be playing, etc., etc. But it'll be definitely an option. I think it's something they'll look into. Anything can happen now between now and the sort of bigger games, so you don't want to be sort of caught short, caught cold. But I would imagine now they're trying to build as much momentum with this particular squad of players, or this particular team of players going into the bigger games. As I say, it's all about now building confidence. You want the likes of Dube's and these guys, younger players, coming in full of confidence, knowing what their roles are. If you can get him playing well leading up to a final, you know, as we know, we've seen him in IPL, he's capable of doing absolutely anything. So I wouldn't imagine too much change, but, you know, let's see.
So India then, 2 wins from 2 in the Super 8s. In Group 1, Bangladesh, 2 defeats from 2. So not looking good as far as their qualification for the semi-finals is concerned. India will feel that they're pretty much already done and dusted. Thanks to Roshan Alam, thanks to Michael Carberry. Kevin Howells is back in alongside me.
Just to say that the next T20 World Cup cricket we've got for you is 1:15. That's British summertime. So tomorrow morning, Afghanistan versus Australia from this very same group that we've been watching, India and Bangladesh, of course. And then tomorrow afternoon, we have at 3:15 for a 3:30 start, United States versus England, of which there is perhaps a little bit more. And maybe you could argue for England because they've slipped up, of course, against South Africa. So a little bit of pressure perhaps upon England in that one that they weren't initially anticipating. But anyway, the United States versus England tomorrow at 3:15. In between times, county championship cricket returns. It's not necessarily the stuff that everybody will be opening champagne bottles for, but in my world we do, because we've had a little bit of T20, bit of championship cricket back tomorrow, so looking forward to that. That's at 5 to 11. Of course, every ball of every game you can find on the BBC Sport website and app. And it is to domestic cricket for listeners to us on BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra we're going to turn our attention right now to, because we started off there earlier today in Derby, and we are going to finish the day cricket-wise in Derby as well, because today is for the very last time the staging of the Charlotte Edwards Cup with the regional teams to change to the women's domestic setup next year. Earlier today, and we followed this one, it was a victory for the Blaze over Central Sparks by 5 wickets, but the holders Southern Vipers have been knocked out this afternoon in the other semi-final, and a victory for the South East Stars, a victory by 5 runs. So the Blaze beat Central Sparks, South East Stars beat Southern Vipers, which leaves us with a final which has just begun. I see the first over, South East Stars scored 22 runs from the first over. Gosh. Anyway, so it's the Blaze versus South East Stars. That's the final. And that's where we're going to go to now here on Sports Extra. And we join a commentary team made up of Nikki Chowdhury, Charlotte Taylor, Clive Eakin and Kevin James.
Over the infield and give your side a good start. They already had.
Absolutely. Phoebe Franklin then comes to the crease at number 3. She didn't bat for 3 for them in the first game. Georgia Redmayne did. So interesting that they've gone with Phoebe Franklin on this occasion. 26 for 1 here in Derby, Charlotte Edwards Cup final. Gordon with a back of a length delivery this time pushes Franklin back to start. She defends into the offside.
It's an interesting move, isn't it, really?
I don't know why you wouldn't go with Redmayne.
With it, did she?
No, they've opted for She did indeed. Bryson again on the pads of Dunkley. And, well, Phoebe Franklin wanted a single, and the ball was picked up by Josie Groves, and I don't really know why, because...
Strange things finals, what they can do to a player.
Yeah, the panic running.
Well, you were brilliant in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy final in 2020.
Well taken, Franklin gets home. Good running in the end. I thought there might have been a slight miscommunication between the two. They're sort of having a discussion now with Dunkley and Franklin.
See, yeah, it was all right, wasn't it? She just said, no, I did play very well the last over.
But actually made 30 in no time at all. But other than that, always room to improve. Bryson again. Good gentle in-swing to Phoebe Franklin, who's forward and driving to the captain Kirsty Gordon at extra cover.
Yeah, lovely shape. Potentially wicket-taking balls with a shape like that. Welcome to Sports Extra, who have been with the World Cup cricket up until now.
Good length delivery from Catherine Bryce, worked off the legs of Phoebe Franklin into the leg side. Lucy Hyam comes in off the mid-wicket boundary, and they collect one more to the total.
Kevin James and Charlotte Taylor, the Southern Vipers off-spinner, currently with you. And earlier today, the Blaze beat the Central Sparks. In the second semi-final, the South East Stars beat the Vipers. That's why we've got these two teams in the final right now.
Full delivery from Bryce. Driving was Dunkley. Cleared the front leg, maybe a little bit too much. Got no real connection on it. Kirsty Gordon picks up the ball at mid-off, and that's the end of the third over. 28 for 1. The brakes have been put on by the Blaze.
So the Stars that won the first edition of this competition back in 2021 have a chance of winning it for a second time. The Vipers, who were looking for 3 wins in a row, unfortunately were beaten early on. I've seen some reports that says it was a thrilling chase. The Stars did win by 5 runs, but the Vipers were always up against it, weren't they? Charlie Dean who came good for the Vipers near the end.
Kirsty Gordon to continue. Cramps Phoebe Franklin for room. She moves into the leg side, trying to create some room for herself, but she's followed by Gordon and plays it back to her.
Almost got the Vipers over the line with 43 from 29, but the Stars held their nerve.
They did indeed, and that's what brought them into the final. Phoebe Franklin uses her feet, hits it up to long on, and Marie Kelly runs into it, parries off of her. It's a horrendous throw back in. It all ends up with the fielder at mid-wicket rather than anywhere near the stumps. She apologises and looks quite embarrassed, but only take one nonetheless. Wow. 29 for 1. Don't very often see that, really.
To say that was ill-directed would do it.
It's almost like you
say it was a better
sometimes
throw
do
than
it as a joke. You sort of aim to throw straight, and then just as a joke, you just sort of launch it far right. But it's, definitely usually as a joke. So I can't imagine she did that on purpose. Long comes up for Dunkley, and she's hit it straight over her head. It's a brilliant shot. Couple of steps down the wicket, and Kirsty Gordon might be ruining that decision to bring Marie Kelly into the inner circle as Dunkley deposits it over her head and into the boundary rope for 4 more.
Yeah, she's in good form, Sophia Dunkley. 49 off 34 in the win over the Vipers in the second semi-final.
Gordon in again. Again, Dunkley uses her feet and just nudges that gently into the leg side this time and picks up a single to mid-wicket. She moves to 10.
She's been named, hasn't she, in the England squad ahead of the series against New Zealand starting this week, Dunkley?
Yeah, back in.
Yeah.
After being left out, Kirsty Gordon just pulls out of that one. Goes back to the top of her mark. Dead ball's called.
Beautiful evening here in Derby.
It's really nice.
Very warm, isn't it?
It is. Franklin tries to give herself some room, exposes the stumps. Just chops it down in front of her. I think she's lucky to get away with that one hitting the stumps.
Yeah, it's been perfect for finals day. Last year, the finals day went into the second day at Worcester with heavy rain late on in the day.
That was the most bizarre day of cricket I've ever experienced, really. Gordon in again down the leg side, gets the pad of Franklin. They do scamper 3 for 1. Leg bye called by Anna Harris, who's standing in her place at the straight, or the sort of the standing umpire's end. And 1 more to the total nonetheless. 35 for 1 after the 4th.
Dunkley's 10 off 7 and Franklin is 2 off 9. Ballinger's first over in this game went for 22, the left arm seamer. There was a couple down the leg side, a couple outside off, and Bryony Smith, who's the 1 wicket to fall, LBW to Kirsty Gordon for 17, was taking full advantage and gave the Stars a really good start to this game.
Bryce to continue then to Franklin, who again is trying to find room by moving to the leg side. She's done that on a few occasions and not really been successful. That one just hits her pads and goes back to the bowler. Exposing her stumps like that is real dangerous, isn't it? If you get it on the stumps and you've given yourself too much room, you take your body weight away from the ball. Bryson again, gun barrel straight, and this time Franklin's lofted it into the leg side. There's a couple of bounces out to the fielder at deep mid-wicket. They're coming back for a second. Dunkley's quick and will make it. 2 more to the total.
Took the throw on of Lucy Hyams there. She wasn't actually deep mid-wicket when she had the ball in their hands and they turned for 2.
I think they just banked on it plugging and not really kicking on. It's good, well judged 2 in the end. 37 for 1. Bryce again. Franklin moves to the leg side to create some space for herself. It hits her pads with an inside edge, so she'll get 1 more to her total. She moves to 5 from 11.
Well, we're hoping for a big run final, aren't we, really? The first game saw the Central Sparks unable to defend 140 for 9, where the Blaze won with 12 balls remaining. 62 for 5, the Stars in the second.
Bryson again, and Dunkley plays that into the offside, picks up another quick single. They're running well, these two.
They are, but I don't know, there's just something that's telling me there might be a run out here. I think one's a bit quicker than the other. I think Phoebe Franklin looks as though she's always got yards to make up. She does make them up, but I don't know, for me, there could be one on the cards.
Could be. Bryson again, outside the off stump, and chopping down on it is Franklin. Misses it. Bryce takes the bails off. No runs scored.
Bryces have a World Cup to look forward to, don't they? T20 World Cup with Scotland.
In Bangladesh.
Yeah, in October.
Yeah, they qualified, which was lovely for them.
Was that last month?
I think so.
Month before.
The roof's still leaking, Kev, if you cared.
It is in front of us. It is. Yes, I know. Yes.
Uses her feet this time, does Franklin. I think that might be a missed stumping opportunity as it beats Bryce as well. And she's trying to make room to the leg side, and it goes through her. And they come through for a 1 by 39 for 1 at the end of the 5th. Franklin has 6, Dunkley's on 11. I think I'm going to make way for Nikki Chowdhury, Kev, so you can talk through the leaking roof if you like.
Well, yeah, I mean, as I say, it's a hot day, and the sun has been out for 95% of it, and yet in front of us there is a roof that sort of sticks out, and constantly there's been a drip that's come through the roof, and it does look as though there's a rogue shower somewhere, and it's been happening on and off throughout the day. So that fills people in that have only just joined us. Welcome back, Nikki.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Also evening now, isn't it?
It is.
It's evening.
Yeah, just after 7 o'clock. So a good start. 40 for 1 with 1 over left of the power play, which means after this over, the Blaze can have more than 2 players outside the 25-yard circle. 25 yards in women's cricket, 30 yards in men's T20.
Yeah, final over of the power play, and it's going to be a change in bowling as well from the City end by the looks of it. Graham into the attack, and it's Phoebe Franklin on strike right now. In comes Graham. This one cut away by Franklin, and it's going to race all the way down to the deep point boundary. It's quite close to her. She watched it really well and played it super late. Quick hands through the ball, and it beats the inner ring. Stars, they move on to 44 for 1.
Heather Graham, the overseas player from Australia, she's a temporary replacement for Nadine de Klerk, who's with South Africa on a tour to India. She's played 4 T20 internationals, Heather Graham, for Australia, the last back in January against South Africa.
In comes Graham again, and this time Franklin's been bowled. She's bowled her. This one hasn't really carried through. It stayed low, and Franklin off the back foot looks to work it into the leg side. Misses, and this time Graham strikes. Stars, they lose another wicket. 44 for 3 now.
You're right, that did keep low. We saw 1 or 2 keep low in the second semi. Basically, the bowler's bowling from the City end towards us, the racecourse end, and we've seen that again as well. She was stuck a bit on the crease. She was outside leg stump, but she was in a position, really, if the ball didn't bounce as though how she wanted, then she left herself a little bit wide open, and she did there.
Yeah, apologies, it's 2 down. The scoreboard was quicker than us. Makes a change. 2 down now, lost the wicket of Bryony Smith, who has trapped LBW off the bowling of Gordon for 17. And we just lost the wicket of Phoebe Franklin now. Gone for 10, bowled Heather Graham, and that one, as you mentioned, she did seem a little bit stuck on the crease, stayed low, lack of footwork, and well, Graham gets the breakthrough. 44 for 2 now, the Stars. Paige Schofield, the new batter, makes her way out to the middle. And she takes her guard, and some adjustments are made out on the field. And she had a good knock in the first game.
Yeah, she was terrific.
Really good. Hoping that she can do something similar now, as in comes Graham, and Schofield drives off the front foot to mid-off.
34 not out of 22 deliveries in that 162 for 5 of the Stars to beat the Vipers with 5 fours and a 6.
And she played a really well-judged innings. She really did live up to her role there, and that's what got Stars to a nice healthy total. As in comes Graham now, and this time this is turned into the leg side down to deep mid-wicket. They'll just get the 1 for it, but Schofield gets herself off the mark. She opens her account, and the Stars are 45 for 2.
Sophia Dunkley's only faced 8 balls.
It's been starved of strike.
She has, actually, yeah. Opened the batting.
It's quite frustrating, though, as a batter, when you want to just keep being in with it, just getting bat on ball, and when you're
just keep up with the momentum, really, isn't it? Really, I mean, she's virtually starved of the strike. 2 balls left of the power play, and she's only faced 8 deliveries.
Almost like starting afresh if it's been a while. Well, she's on strike now, 11 to her name, as she stands in a stance and is forward, defends straight back down the line of the wicket. Graham does the fielding off her own bowling. Always find it quite interesting where Dunkley actually keeps her bat in her stance. She's got quite a high bat position already as the bowler's coming in. Prior to the release point. She's there again. High bat lift, crouch low. Graham this time good length, almost Yorker-like. This one's dug out and played down to deep mid-wicket. They'll get a single. 46 for 2, the score moves on to, as that concludes the end of the 6th over.
After 6 overs, and that concludes the power play.
Power play done and dusted.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the power plays throughout the day. In the last semi-final, the Stars reached 48 for 1. The Vipers were 54 for 2. In the first semi-final, Sparks 54 for 2 there, and 51 for 1 the Blaze. So it's about par, isn't it? Roughly, might even be a couple of runs down from what we've been experiencing throughout the day. But they're on sort of course from what we've seen recently.
Got some leg spin coming in from the racecourse end. Groves into the attack now, and this one is outside the off stump and enough width to be cut away by Dunkley. Goes all the way down towards the boundary. She can save her legs. And the South East Stars, well, they have 50 on the board now for the loss of 2.
I know you were particularly interested in the leg spin throughout the day, Nikki, being a leg spinner yourself. And the high arm or the lower arm, or maybe over the perpendicular a little bit. That looked to be quite high, the arm there.
It did. Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's such small margins in cricket that can make such a difference, and something just as small as adjusting your arm slot can really change the way you bowl. And this one swept away by Dunkley, but straight to 45, so she won't get a reward for it. And it's a dot in the book for the Blaze, which is important. And there's going to be a quick change of field. We've lost a fielder in the ring, been sent out to deep cover. That's Dunkley's on strike. Josie Groves now in, and this time Dunkley again goes to sweep. There's a half-hearted appeal, but no one seems interested in the process. They'll get a quick single. Fielding's done at 45 once again. 51 for 2, the score moves on to.
I'm just looking to my right here, Nikki, and there is a corporate tent here, and they are all dressed up in...
I can't see.
Can you not see it? You look...
Oh, they all look like they've come from a wedding.
Black tie, yeah, it looks like a wedding party or something.
It does. Josie Groves to Schofield now. Tossed up, bit of flight, driven down the ground to long on. I believe that's Marie Kelly doing the fielding. It is, as her ponytail waves in the air. There's a bit of a breeze now here.
That's a real bushy ponytail, that one, isn't it?
Groves in again. This one straighter down the track, and she's been stumped. She's gone. Dunkley tries to use her feet, and she misses the ball quick behind the gloves there from Sarah Bryce. And the South East Stars, they lose another now.
Well, that's a big wicket. And that's a classic leg spinner's wicket, isn't it, really? That turned.
That did turn.
That turned.
And I think with leg spin, again, you want to use your feet. There's a bit of air. If there is a bit of flight, you want to get down to the pitch of the ball, but you've got that danger. If you're not getting across the angle of it, and the ball does spin, like on this occasion it did, you're more likely you could get stumped if you're not get something on it. And obviously in this format you don't see it, but especially in the men's format, red ball cricket, you might see players come down the track, maybe pat it away because they haven't quite got to it, but you need to get something on it at that point, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always good to see, you know, when a leg spinner bowls like that, draws the batter on the front foot, draws them in, and then it turns, and they're committed. Their body weight's going forward, and they just can't get back. You can't turn, you can't get your body weight very quickly moving back towards the keeper in time, and she was very smart with that stumping as well, Sarah Bryce. Classic leg spinner's wicket, that.
Blades will be happy. South East Stars 3 down now, 52 on the board. And Georgia Redmayne comes to the crease, the left-hander. Groves round the wicket, now tossed up Redmayne uses her feet, comes down and drives this to long on. Take a single and then gets herself off the mark. Also concludes the end of the 7th over. Stars 53 for 3, Schofield with 2 to her name, Redmayne with 1. And I believe, is there going to be a quick little shift around
There
as
is.
it comes back?
You're staying, Nikki, because you're worth it. And it's for me, it's going to be Clive Eakin.
Thank you very much, Kevin. We're all worth it. We've been enjoying ourselves on this sunny Saturday for what's meant to be the last ever Charlotte Edwards Cup Finals Day. And I'll shortly welcome back Clive Eakin, who's going to join me for the next few overs. But at the moment, there's going to be a change in bowling from the City. And Lucy Hyam back into the attack this evening. She bowled well this morning, and that's going to be her first over of her spell this evening in the final against the South East Stars, with Georgia Redmayne, the left-handed batter, on strike. And we're all ready to go. I am in, and this one's slightly shorter, back of a length. It's cut away down to deep cover. It'll be a single. Really crucial now that these two can just dig deep, build a stable base for the Stars, and perhaps then look to accelerate a little bit later, don't you think, Clive?
Yeah, it's been a strange innings, isn't it? Getting 22 off the first over. It's actually been a bit of a struggle since then.
It has. Hyam to Schofield now, and Schofield off the back foot cuts this, so it goes straight to extra cover, and a bit of spin there from Lucy Hyam, and it kind of cramps Schofield up a little bit. She doesn't get it away. Hyam in again, and this time this is pulled away off the back foot, and it dissects both the fielders on the leg side boundary. That's going to go all the way. It's a boundary there for the South East Stars, a much needed boundary for Paige Schofield as well. And the score moves on to 58 for 3.
Yeah, a good shot that. I needed that, felt.
Yeah, they really do need a few just to ease things off for them. This one a bit more flight from Hyam, and this one again worked off the back foot but into the offside. It'll be a single down to deep cover. Brings Redmayne on to strike.
I mean, I don't know this ground that well, but there's a perception often that pitches do sort of tend to slow down as the day goes on. What are we now, 20, 40, 60, 80? We're in, yeah, we have almost the equivalent of a full day's play now out on that pitch. It just might have slowed down a little bit.
It's quite a slip put into place for Georgia Redmayne, who's forward and drives this into the offside. It's fielded by extra cover, no run. Haven't seen actually a slip most of the day in all the games, and just had one put in now for the left-hander, who decides to get down on her knees and sweep. Doesn't get anything on it, and it's down the leg side. Umpire Anna Harris signals a wide to the scorers.
Slip not lasting very long. I've seen that sweep shot, so they moved to field that shot.
I am in, and this time Redmayne uses her feet down the track, drives down to long on. They'll get a single, 60 for 3.
Did you enjoy your ice cream? Kevin very generously bought us all an ice cream. Did you enjoy yours?
I absolutely loved it.
What did you go for? You went for the same as me, I think.
I went for the 99 flake. Which
single flake. I forgot Kevin was buying. Otherwise I would have gone for a double flake, if I remember.
I've just asked for extra flakes at that point. Can we just get the box? But yeah, that was exactly what I needed after the first 2 games. A bit of a sugar boost, and especially in the sunshine. It's lovely.
It is quite. I haven't been outside that much. When I have been outside, it's felt quite warm and close out there.
Well, they don't call it Barbados for no reason,
yeah,
do they?
She called it that. Yeah.
Groves to continue from the racecourse end. There's a bit of a delay. Adjustments being made in the field, and I think we're good to go. Groves round the wicket now. This time Redmayne on her knees and does make contact as she sweeps this behind square. We'll get a single. Brings Schofield back onto strike. 62 for 3.
So we've seen 140 lose a match, 160 win a match. I suppose I would suggest 150 is about the mean score, perhaps.
Makes it even more nerve-wracking if you're a fan, as in comes Grove, and this one's lofted, and Schofield looks for a big one, and
stumped.
She's been given out.
Yes.
I believe her back leg just came out her crease as she tried to hit that over into the leg side. She didn't make contact with it, and with really quick hands behind the stump, Sarah Bryce did not miss out on her opportunity when she saw that back leg leave the crease. And the Southeast Stars, well, they lose another. They're 4 down now with only 62 on the board.
I'm not sure the batter's entirely enamoured with that decision, but was there nothing behind the line perhaps? It didn't take long for the square leg umpire to raise the finger, send her on away, but I think there might be a bit of chuntering going on. Catherine Bryce.
Incoming batter
from
Southeast Stars, number 88, Emma Jones.
Just had the announcement. Emma Jones makes her way out into the middle. She's going to be joining Georgia Redmayne.
Yeah, so it was, of course, Paige Schofield went, but yeah. You tend to get away with them when there's no TV umpire here, but everything was quite stationary, I suppose, so it's not as if she moved quickly. It's just a question of whether she'd slipped out of the crease or not.
On the replay that we saw, I think personally, I don't think she had enough over it. It might have just been on the line. Hence the result of that decision. Jones on strike now to face her first delivery from Groves. A leg spinner. He's picked up a couple already, and this time Jones has lofted this down and all the way down the ground, and it beats Kirsty Gordon at long off. A great diving effort, but not good enough, and that makes its way down to the boundary rope. Jones gets off the mark with the 4.
Yeah, good shot, although Kirsty Gordon was interested for a moment. The ball might have just... Oh, she's now having to climb over a fence. Rather awkward fences. She's now looking underneath the covers to try and retrieve the ball. Not sure a player should be required to do this, but anyway, it's Marie Kelly, in fact, who was the fielder, and she's trying to find the ball. Or she's given a thumbs up. She knows where it is. It's a question of how to get to it.
Well, there's 4 covers there, and they're trying to figure out exactly which one it's gone. I think they've gone in between. I think they found it. I'm going to have to crawl under the covers. I used to do that when I was a kid.
I know, I wish she'd use the gap rather than try and climb over the fence, because I'm worried she might do herself a mischief. Which should be unfortunate. Has she got it? No, I don't think she has.
They seem to know where it is. Well, she's climbing over again. In and out she goes.
Can't we just get another ball? Not a kerfuffle. Anyway, that shot notwithstanding, I do think the Stars are in a spotter bother here to lose 4 wickets as early as a 9th over. They need a partnership. It's an obvious thing to say, but
ball has been retrieved. Umpire just has a quick look at it to make sure it's in good condition, and
that was a bad insult to injury, wouldn't it? If he looked at it and said, "No, it's damaged. We need the ball."
After all that effort, hide and seek with the ball. Nah, we're not going to use this one, but they are. Groves has ball in hand. Jones fiercely struck her first ball, made it disappear for a few minutes. We're ready to go again. 66 for 4 now, the Stars. As Groves is in, and this time cut away rather forcefully by Jones, as it's misfielded in the ring, but it's picked up at the deep cover boundary. It will just be the 1. Jones moves on to 5. Southeast Stars 67 for 4.
Kevin has referred to the bobbly outfield, but in front of the first fielder, it actually bounced on one of the old pitches. So that did for Ella Claridge. And then it bounced again in front of the fielder on the boundary. He managed to recover.
Groves it now, and Redmayne just turns this round towards 45. Gets a quick single in the process. Some smart running between these two. Score moves to 68 for 4. Jones on strike, the right-hander now. Groves is going to be over the wicket from the racecourse end as the sun beams down, and this one's left alone outside the off stump on the back foot by Jones. It concludes the end of the 9th over. Southeast Stars are 68 for 4. Groves bowling well, 2 overs so far with 2 for 13. She's picked up a couple.
Well, Jones was annoyed with herself for fast ball. It's hard to understand why she left it. Whether she thought it was going to be wide enough to be called a wide, it clearly wasn't. But slightly strange not to play it, and she was a bit annoyed that she hadn't. You have to compliment the ground staff. It's a really good pitch. We've also had the sunshine, which obviously not down to them, but we've had the sunshine today, so conditions for finals day have been really good.
Extremely good. We're finally experiencing the British summer, as in comes Lucy Higham now from the city end, and this time just driven down to long on by Redmayne. She'll take a single, brings Joan back onto strike. 69 for 4.
It's taking along slower than most of the innings we've seen so far today, and with the 4 wickets down as well, they might be thinking, I mean, they may have to settle for something like 140 that wasn't enough for Central Sparks in the first game, because it was Blaze that chased that down.
2 out on the leg side, deep in wicket, deep square leg, Higham in. This is lofted up and driven off the front foot by Jones to extra cover. It's not going to be a run.
Yeah, sorry, Nikki missed out there, didn't she? A full toss. She found the fielder.
Higham in again. Round the wicket. And this time cut away again. And it goes straight to extra cover. Another dot in the book. Good use of angles here from Higham now as she's round the wicket to the right-hander once again, and Jones looks to go big and just gets it above the inner ring and just about gets it through as well. It goes all the way as deep mid-wicket comes round, attempts to dive, but it doesn't stop the ball. There's a boundary here for the South East Stars. They move on to 73 for 4, another much-needed boundary.
Eventually fielded by the steward in front of the pavilion. He was telling us he's good mates with Dickie Bird earlier. He was telling me and Kevin.
Higham to Jones, who tries to go off the back foot and pulls it, but doesn't quite connect it, and I think it's just hit her on the top of her thigh. Blaze will be happy.
Apparently when Barnsley play Derby, he invites Dickie over and they go to the game together.
No run from that last delivery. Higham in again. This time Jones is forward and reaches quite far. There's an appeal. Did she keep her foot behind the line? It seems like she just about did. And that's the end of the 10th over as well. South East Stars 73 for 4 after 10. Jones with 9 to her name. Redmayne with 6. And just 13 off 2 overs for Lucy Higham. She's bowling well.
Without looking it up, I suspect that's the lowest halfway score we've had today. 73 for 4. So double it from here and get to just over 140. So it's not proving easy for the Stars.
73 for 4 after 10. And leg spin to continue from the racecourse end as Redmayne, the left-hander, is up and faces and turns this round the corner off the back foot down to deep backward square leg. Will take the single. The score moves to 74 for 4. B. Jones on strike. No deep backward square leg here. As Groves flatter delivery now, and it's fielded by Groves off the back end of her follow through. You can really tell that Jones is trying to fully fledge all her force in her shots. And she goes again, and this time does she go all the way? She does go all the way. This lands outside into the little marquee on the bank of the ground here at Derby. It's gone all the way. It's a maximum for Emma Jones. It's a maximum for the South East Stars.
I don't know who it is in that marquee, but there's quite a few of them. It's only a small marquee, so scattering to get out of the way of that one.
There's like 4 of them in
this.
this.
Hard work.
Yeah, 4 of them in this marquee. 80 for 4. The score is this time Jones works this off the back foot into the offside, down to deep cover. Will take the one.
I mean, it's a tent really, or a glorified gazebo almost.
Probably a gazebo. That's probably what.
But, yeah, straight in. You get extra points for that.
That was sweetly timed there from Emma Jones. We mentioned earlier she's got long levers. They really do come to her advantage. Groves in again now to Redmayne on strike. Lofts this. It's a full toss. She uses her feet down the track. Drives down to Marie Kelly at long on. Will take the one. 82 for 4. Jones has quickly powered herself through to 16 off 11. Partnership of 20. It's building rather quickly between these two. Groves in again, and this time Jones looks to go big, doesn't quite time it as well enough, and we pick up a single as Marie Kelly comes round to her right on the long on boundary, does the fielding. This concludes the 11th over. Southeast Stars are 83 for 4. Jones with 17 to her name, Redmayne on 8.
Can we bring Sarah in for a little... I'm sorry. She's out there outside.
We have a surprise guest today, didn't you know? Yeah, we'll make way in the comms box. I think it's me going, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll be back before too long.
Charlotte Taylor's going to replace me.
Sarah Taylor, yeah. Sorry, Charlotte. It's been a long day.
I wish I could keep wicket like Sarah Taylor.
Yeah, well, indeed, yeah.
That's not me.
It's been a long day.
That's okay. I'll let you off.
Good over that last over for the Stars. Double figure over. First since actually the first over of the innings.
Heather Graham, ball in hand from the City end. Balls to Emma Jones. Cutting off the back foot. And finds Josie Groves at point. Can't get it through. 83 for 4.
Christopher Groves. Players have been on their toes in the field.
We've got the squeeze on. Emma Jones is known to be a bit more expansive. Again, Redmayne playing a careful knock at the minute. Graham in again, and short and wide outside the off stump. It's actually not as short as I initially thought. She finds the fielder at deep cover. One more to the total. 84 for 4. Partnership building slowly, worth 22 now. .84 for 4. In the 12th, Heather Graham just getting her fielders in the right place. That setting sun is a bit of a problem now for players away to our left. Graves, it's just a real heave into the leg side. She's missed it completely, and looks like one bail's come off on the leg stump, and she's had to go. So a real poor option. Not a great shot from Emma Jones, to be honest with you. But she's had to go for 18, and the Blaze have got their 5th now.
Yeah, they are out in the semi-final against Central Sparks. Sparks got off to they had a brilliant power play, but after that they squeezed them quite well. It was only Courtney Webb that managed to get some runs right at the end of the innings. They got them up to 140, but they do frustrate the opposition Blaze. Do that pretty well. And 5 wickets down, and we're only just over halfway through the innings. It's a problem for the Stars. They need to make sure they get something on the board that they can have a chance of defending.
What do you reckon that was? I'm just throwing you under the bus. I'm really sorry.
I think they're probably looking at them. They'll do well to get to 140 from here, I'd say.
Well, that wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't. But maybe, as I was saying earlier, pitches sometimes do slow down a bit as the day goes on. Maybe it might be a bit more competitive in this third match.
Alice Davidson-Richards, the new batter. Playing as a batter only in this side at the minute. She comes in at number 7. Heather Graham's got 2 wickets to her name now. She's been quite good with the ball, actually. More so with the ball than with the bat since coming over from Hobart. Alice Davidson-Richards knocks that into the leg side. She wants 2 as Catherine Bryce comes round from deep mid-wicket, but will only get 1. So a good over again from the Blaze. A good one from Heather Graham. Gets the wicket of Jones. 2 overs, 2 for 9 for her. Good return.
Yeah, it's one of the consequences of taking wickets there. They might well have gone for 2, but they just can't afford to risk any more wickets wickets lost now. Now we're going to see Grace Ballinger back, which will be interesting, having gone for 22 in the first over. And there was a slightly comic element to it, in that one of her teammates kept trying to offer her words of encouragement and didn't seem to go down too well.
I'm not sure it would have gone too well with me if I've just been carted for 14 and an over and then I suddenly get told what to do. I'm not taking it very well, but that's okay. She's got to talk to her captain now, Kirsty Gordon. The two of them having a conversation right down in front of us here. She's bowled 1 over so far. It went for 22.
Did include 5 wides off 1 delivery.
She's bowling to Davidson Richards. New batter Davidson Richards. It's a full delivery and she's driving that nicely up to Marie Kelly at long on. Does the fielding. All players with their sunglasses on now as the setting sun is blinding them all.
It does slightly surprise me that Grace Ballinger doesn't trip herself up sometimes with her run-up, because her feet are sort of almost getting each other's way.
It's not the smoothest of run-ups. It'd be interesting to see whether she's actually been told to fix that and smooth that out in the past, or whether they've just said, no, you're bowling brilliantly, just leave it as it is. But it's a little bit higgledy-piggledy. There's a sort of a hop halfway through. She bowls to Redmayne this time. It's a good delivery, and she just plays that nicely into the offside and gets through for a quick single as the two fielders at extra cover in mid-off somehow stop it between them.
Well judged run.
Again, no expansive shots from Redmayne. We can't really now if there was a new batter, but needs to find a way to score a little bit quicker for me. So we're into the 13th, 88 for 5, the Stars. Ballinger in, full delivery. Davison Richards works that nicely into the leg side.
Kirsty Gordon was just limping slightly there, whether that was just... I don't know whether the ball hit her on the ankle, but just briefly she seemed to be limping slightly. Seems okay there.
Hopefully, for her sake. Big expanse to our left, isn't there, in the leg side? There's no fielders inside the inner ring other than Short Fine. The rest of them are on the boundary, patrolling for Redmayne. Ballinger in again. Good length delivery. Hits her on the thigh pad. Looks a little bit high and outside off stump. Other than that, it was out. Runs down for 4 leg buys. Grace Ballinger looks slightly concerned.
Terrific appeal. She just jumped up and down about 3 times.
For something that just really wasn't out. 4 more to the total nonetheless. 93 for 5. If you've just joined us here at Derby, this is the final, the Charlotte Edwards Cup final between the Blaze and the South East Stars. Blaze won the toss and put the South East Stars into bat, and they've had a few minor contributions down the order, but nothing of significance yet, and they find themselves 86 for 5. 93 for 5, sorry, in the 13th. Ballinger in again to Redmayne, who's driving up towards us to Marie Kelly at long on. Collect 1 more to the total. Slow and steady at the moment.
Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race, they say. I'm not sure it will here.
Maybe in every other race other than this one. The race to the Charlotte Edwards Cup. Ballinger bounding away from us. Bowls to Davison Richards, a low full toss. And she splits the field perfectly. I think she will get it between mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket and deep long on, and will pick up a boundary. It's a lovely piece of timing from Alice Davidson Richards. Finishes the over with a boundary. She moves to 7. And the Stars now, well, that looks a little bit more healthy. 98 for 5 at the end of the 13th.
Well, 12 off that over. So Grace Ballinger's gone for 34. And this is a bit of a problem for Kirsty Gordon. Does she bring Grace Ballinger on for a couple more overs? She has used 6 bowlers, so she doesn't have to. But anyway, we'll see. 98 for 5. Kevin James is going to come in and join you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Clive. Been a pleasure as always today.
Number 24,
Kirsty Gordon. Change of bowling from the City end. She's going to come in. Bowled 2 overs so far, 1 for 10. Been quite tidy. She's going to be bowling to Redmayne, who's 11 from 14. A slow start for her. She's sweeping on this occasion, a little bit airily, but a couple of bounces out to Josie Groves on the square leg boundary. So we welcome back Kevin James.
Redmayne for me is more of a 50 over player than T20.
Is that what you just decided?
Well, I mean, the Stars need a Paige Schofield type knock here, don't they, from here on in, that she produced in the semi-final. Because for me, this is not enough.
No, it's not.
Even at this stage.
Davidson-Richards then, can she play that part? She's trying a little lap, a reverse lap. Doesn't get all of it, but gets enough of it to take a single only. And gets into 3 figures to the South East Stars. 100 for 5 in the 14th. 140, would that be enough? It wasn't enough in the first semi-final.
No, I mean, the odd one's kept low, bowling from the city end, but it still looks a good pitch. They just haven't got going, really.
No.
Unlike against the Vipers, none of the batters have really got going.
That might be their problem. They're going to look to post a convincing total, a defendable total. Gordon in again, and driving this time is Redmayne, and gets it past Gordon, who's diving and her follow through. Picks up 1 more to long on. 101 for 5. Redmayne moves to 13. Davison-Richards with her on 8.
Yeah, I don't know. Alice Davison-Richards might come to the party here. She's still a very good player.
She tries again, another reverse lap, gets more of it this time. It runs away from Josie Groves. She's going to cut it off as she pulls it in from just inside the boundary rope. They get 2. It's a poor throw back into Sarah Bryce, but doesn't cost anything else. So 2 more to the total.
Well, it's less than a year ago she was playing T20 for England.
Yeah, and then she was picked in a test match.
Yeah.
So maybe more of a test match cricketer as viewed by England, but she's got to play her part here for the Stars if they want to get up to a defendable total. She uses her feet and digs one out, actually ends up yorking herself. She plays it into the onside and will get 1 more to her total. She moves to 11 from 7 deliveries.
Yeah, this situation might be made for her.
They are bowling well though, the Blaze. I do feel like they've not given a lot. There's nothing really overly short, other than that first over from Ballinger, which was a little bit wayward, to put it politely.
They bowled straight, haven't they?
They've bowled straight. Gordon does it better than most. As I say, that's 1 down the leg side, a bit of a loosener. It's going to actually be stopped by Josie Groves at deep backward square. They're going to come back for 2. Good running. Another poor throw into the wicketkeeper. Ends up in the middle of the pitch. And another 2 to the total. That's the end of Kirsty Gordon's 3rd. She's bowled well and tightly. 3 overs, 1 for 18. Stars at the end of the 14th for 106 for 5.
Yeah, I'm just having a look. So the Stars after 14 in their other semi-final were 108. So actually they're not too far behind where they were in the second game, actually. 14 overs, 109 with the Vipers. So actually, this is pretty much par from what we've seen, actually.
But I just feel like the back end, they've really exploded, haven't they, teams that have gone on to make sort of match-winning totals in the end for the 2 games before this one. They've just found a way to accelerate.
They have. The Blaze were 98 in their win over the Central Sparks after 14, and the Sparks were actually 100.
Well, there we go, they're above par,
so,
maybe.
Yeah, it's round about
Josie
par.
Groves then,
Shot.
And that's a great shot by Ellis Davison-Richards, comes down the pitch and hits it straight back over her head, gets to the pitch of the ball, drives it nicely, picks up 4. You said that, shot straight off the bat.
That's a good shot, isn't it? She's strong, Alice Davison-Richards, isn't it? Very strong player.
And has the ability, there's no doubt about that. 110 for 5, she moves to 15 from 8. Puts pressure on Groves straight away. Who's in her last. She's bowled well, picked up 2 wickets so far. A bit of a loopier one from her, and Davis-Richards is cutting off the back foot. That's a good shot as well. It's running away from, I think that's a sub fielder on over there. I haven't, actually it could be Michaela Kirk, I could have lied. It's running away from us. She picks up 4 more, does Davison-Richards.
Yeah, a little bit of width there from Josie Groves. It really only had one that's turned, just gripped into the surface, which was an absolute beauty to get Sophia Dunkley stumped. Dunkley was just pushing forward at that, and the ball just bounced and just turned away a fraction, and Sarah Bryce had the stumps off, or the bails off in no time. Nothing's really else has moved off the straight for her.
She doesn't get an awful lot of turn.
No.
Generally. Does Josie Groves?
She's not. She's not generally known in the game as a turner.
No. A Tina.
A Tina. Is that what they say?
Tina Turner, I just made it up. I didn't even get it. It was really wasted. It's a back of a length delivery from Groves and tried to turn it into the leg side.
Was there anybody else in here got that straight away? No. But do you know what?
I thought it was funny.
It was actually very good. The more you think about it,
Yeah,
you say,
but
she's a Tina.
Yeah, but the fact that you have to think about it is the problem, I feel. But there we go. Groves in again to Davison Richards. She's placed it up in the air and Kirsty Gordon's running in. No, she's not. It's Marie Kelly that's going to try and take the catch in the end, and she drops it at long on. I thought Kirsty Gordon was going to try and run back from mid-wicket to take the catch, and then obviously she got the call from Marie Kelly, who was running in to take the catch, and ended up dropping it because the one running backward would have been harder. But Davison Richards runs 2 and gets a life. Moves to 21.
I think it hit her more on the wrist in the end than the hands.
I thought they were going to collide for a second. But she survives. Davison Richards uses her feet again. This one tries to hit. She's going to get a second chance. Here's the ball goes to long on. That's an easier chance. It's taken by Marie Kelly. She hasn't got to think about that for too long, that drop. She's taken the second opportunity. The very next ball. Didn't get any of it, really. Davison Richards gets the bottom of her bat. She tries to hit it over the boundary rope for 6. The Stars, they lose their 6th. Davison Richards, she falls for 21. And the total now 116 for 6.
Well, it just looked as though, well, you couldn't catch the first one. Have another go. See if you can catch the second one. That was a lot easier, though. She didn't have to make up so much ground.
No, she didn't. But still, Davison Richards opting to use her feet, try and go down the ground. I mean, she did it previously in the over, but she got to the pitch of it. That one, she didn't get to the pitch of it, and that was the issue, is that she was then trying to fetch it from outside off stump. Another wicket for the Blaze, who just seem to be taking wickets at key moments here, don't they, throughout their innings, and it's just stunting the growth of the partnerships between those batters at the South East Stars.
There's been no real partnerships of note, is there? 26 for the first, there were 44 for 2, 52 for 3, 62 for 4, 85 for 5. There's nothing in there really of note.
Nothing that's pushing on 40 plus.
No, nothing that's really put the Blaze under pressure.
It's Tash Farrant, the new batter. Left-handed Tash Farrant finds herself batting at number 8. Has opened in the past in this competition and in the Rachel. Finds herself down at 8 today with Dunkley back in the side. Uses her feet first ball. She's reaching for that one outside the off stump, but it's a good delivery from Grove. She held it back and she could only find the fielder, the captain, Kirsty Gordon, at extra cover. That's a good over from Grove. She got a little bit of a tap in the first delivery or so, and then after that she created chances. She's through her 4 overs, 3 for 33, bowled well.
Look at that run rate. If you look in, when you look at the graph there, it started amazingly, didn't they? And then it's just levelled out, not really going anywhere.
No. And I don't think Redmayne's helping the cause. I mean,
well, she's not going to take you apart, is it? That's the thing. I mean, she might
want to keep her
accumulate. Yeah, she just accumulates. I mean, she's a good player. There's no doubt about it. But she's not a, you know, she's not going to sort of hit 18 and then over, is she?
And she doesn't allow the new batters to sort of, by hitting a few boundaries her end, sort of allow them a couple of balls just to settle. They're almost expected to go straight away.
Yeah.
Puts
It's got
pressure
to play
on.
around her.
Absolutely. Lucy Hyam then to continue with her off spin and cutting off the front foot is Redmayne. Finds Michaela Kirk at deep cover. Who hasn't touched the ball an awful lot today, Michaela Kirk.
No. I wonder if that says a lot about the Stars batting, really. I think, you know, it's a bit odd, isn't it, when you've got your overseas player in and yet you're asking your own players to bat around. It's not right, really.
Not often we've seen this in the competition, though. 2 left-handers at the crease together. I'm yet to take a wicket in this game. On the back foot is Farrant. Again finds Michaela Kirk at deep cover. They want 2, but they decide against it, as Kirk was quick to the ball. 118 for 6. They probably wish it was for 2.
Well, I bet they do, yeah. So what have we got? We've got 4 overs after this. Heather Graham's still got 2 overs. 2 for 9.
Catherine Bryce has still got 2. Barely got above 8 today.
No.
In general.
There's not been any spikes.
No. A reverse sweep by Farrant. That's a strength of her. She's beaten... Who's that there? She's beaten Claridge, I think, to her left-hand side as it goes through for another boundary to the Stars. 123 for 6. That's just going to help proceedings a little bit. It's a good shot by Farrant.
Yeah. I think as usual with the Stars, you just kind of expect more when you look at that batting order, don't you? You think, oh gosh.
The throw comes back in and almost hits her as she's laying on the turf. It looks like it's hurt her slightly. But Redmayne gets away with it. It's probably one of the first aggressive shots we've tried to see her play, to be honest with you. But she survived nonetheless. We're through 16 overs here, 125 for 6. Kevin, a few more words from you, and then you'll be joined by Nikki Chowdhury.
Yeah, 9 runs off that over. I mean, they are scoring okay. I don't want to be too critical. You just look at some of the names there, Sophia Dunkley and Paige Schofield, who's done so well since she moved from the Vipers a couple of seasons ago and had a really good semi-final innings. They just haven't quite sort of matched up to their billing, really. Bryony Smith was 17 at the top. She was just starting to get going. You always think, as always, with this...
Redmayne turns this down to a deep backward square leg. We'll pick up a single. Slightly straighter line from Graham.
Interesting having 2 left-handers in as well. Might just upset the line of 1 or 2 bowlers.
It's a bit of a handy thing to have sometimes, isn't it? Just if you've got some left-handers in your side, just play around with a few looser deliveries, as this time it's pushed off the back foot, straight to point, fielded by Lucy Hyam.
I heard you talking about the crowd earlier, and I think, unfortunately, I think that's been a feature of the one-day finals, whether it's Rachel Hayhoe-Flint or this. They just never, wherever it's been, Northampton, Worcester, even the Rachel Hayhoe at Lord's a couple of years ago, I remember, just crowds just non-existent.
In comes Graham now, this one on leg stump as it's tucked around the corner again by Farron. Will just be the single. I think something else to take into account, it is a Saturday though, so a lot of cricket fans are also playing cricket, so there's that to take into account. And
yeah, whereas I mean a ground like this, actually, if you get a few in, it actually does look half decent, but that's about all it is.
Graham into Redmayne, who's forward and drives this down to deep mid-wicket as it's fielded on the bounce. Adds 1 to the total, 128 for 6.
Another thing as well, with the weather it's been over the last few weeks, if you are into cricket, you don't want to miss out on weekends like this, do you?
Exactly. So many games have been washed off and rained off so far that they're just starting to get a whiff of the good weather as Graham's in, and this one's Fuller on the off stump, and they'll take on the single in the ring as a shot at the stumps. It's a miss, but had it hit, Farron would have been in danger, but it didn't. The single is completed. Single added to the total, 129 for 6.
Yeah, good running.
Redmayne on strike, 20 to her name as she taps her bat, approaches Graham, who runs away from us now, and Redmayne's forward and plays this into the vacant area on the leg side. Marie Kelly comes around to do the fielding. They want the 2, but they won't get the 2. 130 for 6 as that concludes the end of the 17th over. Farron with 8, Redmayne with 21. These two just ticking things over. Let's hope they really see it through for the Stars.
Yeah, 5 runs off that over, and 3 overs in which the Stars, I think, will get to around about 150, maybe even 160 if there's a couple of lusty blows. You feel though Georgia Redmayne might have to open her shoulders up a little bit, but she's keeping the innings going. That's the main thing. Still 4 wickets to play with, and as these overs run out, it'll be quite handy.
Yeah, first semi-final of the day, 140 was on the board. Second game we had 160, so I'd say ideally you want the 150, 160 mark to put yourself in a good position as in comes Catherine Bryson. This one's cut away off the back foot by Redmayne. Will it go all the way? 2 fielders in pursuit, but that pursuit is in fail as the ball just kisses the boundary rope, runs down as Anna Harris signals to the scorers a boundary. 134 for 6 is the score. Farron with 8, Redmayne with 25.
Yeah, she did well there. That was fairly straight delivery. She just gave herself a little bit of room, picked out the gap. Good shot.
Comes Bryce in, and this one's a slower delivery. She goes hit this up, and it's straight down the throat of mid-off as Georgia Redmayne didn't quite go through with the shot, half-hearted, and didn't quite get enough on it. That's gone straight to the fielder at mid-off, and the Stars lose another wicket.
I think she just lacks a bit of power, doesn't she, really? She is definitely a nerdler and a nudger, isn't she? And using the pace behind square on the offside. I think when she tries to put pace on the ball herself, that's what happens, really. And I think she, to be fair, she's a good player. She knows her limitations and plays within that. You know, that's a useful innings with the Stars. Again, you know, you just feel there's more there, and they've had to rely on 25 from her. She was the same in the semi-final, although probably should have kicked on, but she's definitely a runner ball batter, isn't she, really? That's her game.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen her, I think, just perhaps come more into herself when there's been a bit more pace on the ball. We described her earlier on the ball. She's really got into her stride and played through the shots. A slower delivery again from Catherine Bryce, as this is cut away straight to backward point.
I think she's like a lot of players, and you said it yourself earlier that you actually prefer playing men's cricket because the ball comes onto you a little quicker.
Yeah, I think it's a bit easier because you're not having to generate that power as well, because you can just rely on the pace coming off from the ball. As in comes Catherine Bryce now, and this is hit uppishly towards deep square leg. It's misfielded by the fielder, and it's just saved from the boundary rope as well. I believe the sun is causing some disruption out there on the leg side, and it's paying in favour of the South East Stars. 136 for 7. They got a couple from the misfield.
Is that Lucy Hyam out there? I'm just wondering, there was a big bounce there actually off the turf, wasn't there? What if it got in the sun?
It did. In comes Bryson this time. McDonald Gay looks to turn it into the leg side. She doesn't get bat on it. And that does conclude the end of the 18th over. South East Stars 136 for 7.
Yeah, 6 runs off that one. So the Blaze just keeping a lid on the innings by somewhat, but they're on for 150, which is right bang in the middle of the two scores that we've seen from the sides batting first in the earlier two semi-finals. So they'll give them a chance, that's for sure. One side batting first won, and one side batting first lost. So.
Can't complain with 150. You'd ideally want 160, but given the situation, may not be possible. But we've got a change in bowling from the racecourse end. Kirsty Gordon comes into the attack. She's going to bowl through her spell, and she's going to be bowling to the left-handed Tash Farron.
She'll try one or two lusty blows, I'm sure.
Of course she will. Shadows covering the ground as in comes Gordon now, and this is tossed up, and Farron looks to turn it onto the leg side, but it's hit her on the pads and it doesn't go anywhere. It goes down as dot in the book. Blaze will be happy with that as long as there's no scoring opportunities. There's a big vacant gap on the leg side. No one in the ring in front of square. Gordon in again, and this time Farron goes to sweep. She sweeps well, but not well enough as deep square leg does the fielding. Keeps it down to a single.
That's so normal, men's and women's cricket, isn't it? Just to have big gaps on the leg side. Have everybody on the boundary, except there'll be ones, but don't let or try and protect that boundary as much as you can. And then when you look on the offside, everybody's up. It's a typical field these days.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, four's bigger than one. Just try and stop that, and one's not going to cause too much damage as opposed to maybe 4 boundaries on the trot.
Well, it's a big hit away on the leg side, isn't it?
Gordon into McDonald Gay. Slower delivery and dropped into the offside. They'll quickly take a single. Bit of a fumble in the offside, but take the single. 138 for 7 the score moves on to. Gordon now. High in her stance, and this is full toss, so she got everything on it. No, she hasn't. It's a perfect, beautiful catch out in the deep square leg. Tash Farron will have to depart. She didn't make the most of that full bugger there from Kirsty Gordon. She probably would have liked to. She eyed it up, but didn't quite get enough on it. That was a great catch down at deep square leg.
Even better because of the sun. That's right in the eye of the sun there. That's a great catch. I didn't think Farron would would wait too much longer to hit a big one. That was a perfect opportunity, but it is a big boundary away to our left. The bigger of the two sides. That is a lusty blow, isn't it, to get that over the rope there. But absolutely super catch.
It's a great catch, and she's done such a good job to keep her eyes on it, given how sunny it is down on that part of the ground. But unfortunately, Tash Farron will have to depart for scoring just 9. But that does bring Danielle Gregory out to the middle. Southeast Stars leg spinner. We should be able to just add a few more to this total.